This podcast is intended for adults only. We do not condone the use of any illegal substances, and anything we consume is for educational purposes only.
Because, we should be afraid of a plant that grows from the ground. And, endocannabinoid system is, it's in your body and it produces cannabinoids. I mean, you know what? I'm going to stop because I'm going to rant. Just play the music, Mitch.
On my side, man, what a time it is to be alive. See, I'm charged up, feeling energized, do the enterprise, move supersize. Y'all let you like a side of fries. Whoa, false guys who you idolize. Yeah, go against us, I would not advise. We the highest in the room, just look up once and you can find us. Our songs should have more plays, but we too dope, they rewind us. All my targets lined up, every day my girl get fined up. All my
You're listening to the Canna podcast, where we are creating conversations concerning cannabis, culture, and creativity. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Mitch Narito.
And you are in the Buddha Lounge, but not technically in the Buddha Lounge, with Eric Esteban. I want to get straight to the grow update because I'm so excited about what's going on in the grow. Because first, part of the grow update is the harvest update, and you saw the jars, Mitch.
Yes, this man has many jars of.
You have many jars.
I do have many jars of marijuana. No, but it's a good yield. It's a good harvest. It's you've got a good number of strains harvested in good amounts. You can rotate them. You can experiment. You can play with them, and it's gonna last you until your next harvest at least. I'm hoping.
Maybe and maybe not. But that's part of what I'm loving about this autoflower thing, because we've been smoking today on the Pineapple OG, and it was almost the one that was most ready to just like straight from the cut, off the vine, ready to go. You dry it for 7 days, trim it, and jar it for 7 days, and it is smokable. It is ready and wonderful.
And we tried that 2 weeks ago for the last episode.
Which was fresh. It was probably 2-3 days off the vine,
and
trimmed.
I would say that the amount of cure time really does make a big difference, because when I got here, Eric had a couple things for me to try. So the first thing we had, he rolled a cigarillo.
A barrel man.
But that was sugar leaf and keef, and it was good.
It was a nice smoke to smoke outside and chill and talk.
And then I was telling Eric, I feel the keef more than the sugar leaf.
I feel you.
And then he was like, okay, we'll try this. And then he busted out the Pineapple OG, and that was perspective changing, to say the least.
No, but that's Humboldt Seed Company, man. That's genetics for sure. Because remember the mint jelly?
Yeah.
That same weed. I mean, it came basically just ready to cut it, hang it, 7 days, and it's ready to smoke. And it is delicious. Mint jelly was great. Remember that the whole thing we had with the 3 different jars and Angie, and I'm not as, because I had to trim a lot of plants this round, so I kind of was like, I wasn't as delicate about putting all the each plant in one jar and keeping. I kind of just
it was all the same stuff.
Everything just kind of blended together like days. I put dates on the jars to know when the jars were first, when I first put everything into the jar. But as far as I don't know, man. I know it's old school because everybody does either they have like these big plastic, I can't remember what they're called, but they have these big plastic bags that are basically curing bags. Nowadays. I still like the glass jars, especially because I get to recycle like old spaghetti sauce jars and no, but I love
that's amore.
I love it, man. It is amore, bro. I love that shit because it also, like, I've always dreamed of having jars and jars of weed. Yeah. So now I have jars of weed, and it's wonderful.
Eric just wants to live out his dreams of owning a dispensary in the early 2000s.
Oh yeah. You know what? I would have loved to do that. That would have been a great job.
No, dude. Like, okay, if I could be honest, I miss that feeling because
I miss that the old days feeling of the jars and yeah, you know. And,
you'd always have like the finest bud tenders. That's
that it was always the prettiest girls in the world.
Hell
they
yeah.
were like the bud tenders.
It's like I'm not paying attention to buds when you're having that jar in front of you like that. You know, like
it's true.
No, but that's what it was about. It was distracting.
Yeah, it was totally distracting.
I
That's why I could never get a job there because I
had punch cards.
I wasn't very pretty.
I had punch cards for every 10th eighth. You get an eighth and a goodie bag free.
Oh my gosh. All the little freebie thing. I miss those days. I think those were the Prop 215 days, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what I think the downfall of all that was?
What?
When they started letting people do dabs in store.
When they started letting people, well, because part of it was they didn't regulate it to the point where they would over dab people. And people would smoke, and they'd be so stoned, and they shouldn't be driving or doing anything else.
So I had a dispensary, or was it a dispensary? Or yeah, a dispensary. Like not even like half a mile away from my house, right? And I drove
in Pasadena.
In Pasadena, yeah.
Okay.
So I drove out there, right? I bought my weed, and then pretty girl bartender was like, "Hey, you want to hit a dab?" And I was like, "I could do that." Right, like you do that, and she's like, "Yeah, let me hit you up. Like let me get you."
Did
started.
they charge you?
No, it was free. It was just like, "Here, have a good one." Like it was like that. That's how I know it was on. Like the moment you saw that going down, it's like, "Oh, this place is gonna get shut down pretty quick."
Yeah.
But I remember I was driving my car, and like I said, it's less than half a mile away. But then half of that half, I was like, "Oh shit!" Right?
Yeah, no, dabs are no joke.
Like.
Dabs are the cracky weed.
Like, dude, like if I had been further from home, I would have had to pull over and just like take a nap and like, try to sleep.
No, I feel you, dude. No, I'm not. Well, dabs hit me like edibles. Like the only part that's the harshness, the smoke and of the volume, but also the temperature of the smoke. I mean, if I do it like a dab or like a live resin from like a nice vaporizer, that's temperature,
You don't really vape though.
But I think it's going to depend on the next series of harvests that I have, especially the greenhouse harvest, which tends to be a little bit more leafy, and so I'm going to wash all of that. And I'm
gonna messy. I don't know. It's just so messy. It's not my thing, man. Like,
but I'm gonna try and wash it, and I'm gonna see if I can get some hash. And if I can get some hash from that, well, then I will probably start smoking that hash in a nice vaporizer.
Yeah, I would just buy a rig because, like, like a blowtorch or whatever. Like people use. I got a titanium nail.
No,
like,
I'd probably buy one of those. Mikey got one of what is it? Was it Bang Olufsen's? Is that what you remember?
The Bang Olufsen is like...
No, the Bang Olufsen's is a speaker. Never mind. Shout out to them. They're good speakers. But also...
Bickles and something?
But yeah, he's got that little vaporizer thing.
But like,
and he can regulate the temperature. I'd be down for some shit like that.
Like even since then, right? So that wasn't even like a year or two ago. Like since then, like there have been nicer ones like Puffco. Right?
Yeah, but Puffco has its drawbacks too. A lot of people online, I've been researching because I was going to buy a Puffco, and a lot of it breaks down pretty easily. And
but I'm saying like they have stuff where it's just like a self-contained, you don't have, you just you put your thing in there and then like it'll heat it up for you. You don't have to.
Well, we are going to harvest the hash first, and then we'll see what we got, and then I will see how we smoke it from there.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I think
that's a cool phrase right there. We'll see how we smoke it from there. That's nice. I like that.
I think you're gonna always be a traditional like flower type of guy. Like you've always been. I think.
Yeah.
I think you experiment more with how to smoke it, like flower wise.
Sometimes
you are branching out into like processing it into different different things. But that's because you've never had this amount before.
Right. And that's part of it. Like and also part of it is I've never had different types of harvest before because the greenhouse harvest is very different from the indoor tent harvest.
Yeah.
Because the indoor tent harvest has the direct light of the LEDs for the, constant
Yeah,
life cycle.
It's 12 hours guaranteed.
Right, or 18 in the case of the vegging plants now, 18
Yeah.
guaranteed. You know, whereas some days outside in the greenhouse, it's been very cloudy out
Yeah.
here in Burbank, so it's been some days they get good sun and some days they don't get so much good sun. So the buds aren't really as big as I would like. But there's a lot of upon further examination, you look at the leaves and small buds closely, and they're covered in trichomes. They're covered in resin. So, you know, if I can extract that resin from all those leaves, then I'll have some strawberry cough hash and some Jedi cookies hash, and that's not a bad thing. But the Jack Herrera is flourishing out there. See, and that's the weird thing about the there's 3 different strains out there in the greenhouse, and the strawberry cough is actually 4. The blueberry, the DJ Short blueberry and the strawberry cough are similar in that they're both kind of small buddy, kind of leafy, and then same with the Jedi cookies. But the Jack Herrera is still, you saw it.
Yeah, no, it's number one. It's number one yielder.
It's the number one yielder. Like each
It's a strong plant.
It's strong genetics. So I'm trying to keep it in, and Mitch is going to stay here till the lights turn on, because speaking of light cycle, I've switched the light cycle now, where all my plants that are on 18.6, so all the plants that are on LEDs in the tents that are under 18.6 are now going to turn off at 12 p.m. and then turn back on at 6 p.m. So that's my nighttime is kind of my hottest time in the tent. So I don't want the lights beating down on them on the hottest time in the thing. But also, it's also the cheapest to have, when that's the best time to have them off, because that's the most expensive prime time. 12 to 6 is like prime time running your lights time. And
Is your electric bill high?
No, not really, because my LEDs are only 200 watts each, and I'm trying to keep it that way. Like, I'm going to replace the smaller one that's only 80 watts, and I'm going to replace it with the same 200 watt. And once I'm running 200, I'm good. And I'm obviously yielding enough for me to smoke and for me to give to my friends, so I'm good.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I want to be right here for at least the next year, 2 years. I don't want to go any bigger than that. I mean, maybe we can try developing a new strain or breeding or other things like that. Sure. But
It's so weird because I know that we've talked about it before, but the fact that growing is going to become what I feel is like the next microbrew craze.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like that's for sure.
Like, instead of people like brewing their own beers and stuff, like a bunch of people are just going to be like, hey, I grew this, try it out. I grew this, you know?
Oh yeah. Like, well, and also I want to get us involved in a lot of the conventions, because now that we do have a little bit more of it, I can submit 5 grams to a contest. I can submit 5 grams to another contest, because I'm starting to think like this Jack Herrera, because not a lot of people grow sativa and not a lot of people are growing Jack Herrera these days. So I really think that this Jack Herrera is definitely submittable to some cannabis cups, and see if we can't either place or at least make a name for ourselves.
So wait, have we talked about like what would you rename this Jack to if it was?
I wouldn't rename it. It would just be Jack, and it'd be what I was growing. I haven't yet submitted.
No,
to
but
any
you
contest,
you would have to differentiate, like
yeah. Well, I mean,
like Jack Canna edition, or
yeah, probably just Jack Canna edition.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I'd be boring like that, because I feel like our Canna brand and what we've kind of built here is really, I was looking at the downloads the other day, and there's a lot of downloads still. From not even just new downloads, but also people from all over the world, all over the country, listening to our stuff. So we should
update the listeners on the stats one time.
Well, and we'll do that. Yeah. I'm not trying to brag about numbers, or
no, it's not bragging. Just like
no, but at the same time, I'm really happy that our that our voice is getting out there. But also, I feel like our voice should then there's a responsibility with that audience, and that is to inform them more. So if you got more people that are growing their own and they're listening to us, then I want to provide them with more information. So I want to bring more guests, because we're reaching up to we're episode 43. This is episode 43 now, and I mean, like, we're gonna get once we get past 50, man, we're gonna up it. We gotta put some like video, or I don't even know. We gotta do some stuff, because it's fun. I really enjoy this. Like, and Mitch, you have such a good nose and taste for weed, and so you can help me differentiate between all the strains, and even all the different types of ways of smoking it. Because the sugar leaf joints are nice.
Yeah.
But they don't. They're good to smoke during the day if you need something to smoke.
No, okay. So you know what that would be. You know what the sugar leaf joints would be good for, right? Let's say you have like a big party, like a house party, right? And it's just something that people pass around.
There
right?
you go. That's exactly it. Like,
because then, like, people that don't smoke normally, they'll be like, "Oh, I feel it," right? And then people that do smoke normally will be like, "All right, cool. Like, that's good enough." Like,
yeah.
It's not. It's
not gonna hit you so hard that you're fucked up.
Yeah, it's not gonna make everyone at the party mute. You know what I mean?
Right. Whereas there are some of the weeds that I've smoked, especially the Jedi cookies.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that weed.
Yeah.
Because it was wonderful. Like, I mean, it is, and that's why even the sugar leaf joints of the Jedi cookies, they're wonderful.
I would say for the Jedi cookies, like, Eric was having me, like, check out all the strains, and just I was feeling them out, and like when he opened up the Jack, or not the Jack, the Jedi cookies, sorry. When he opened up the Jedi cookies and I smelled it, that one, like, very distinctive, like, had a very sharp aroma to it.
Yeah, dude.
And it was cool. Like, because I was also seeing, remember we had the blueberry, the short...
the DJ Short Blueberry.
Yeah, that was really wet. Like, it's starting to...
It's starting to be smokable now, but even now,
it's
a long cure on that.
It's very long.
Which I'm not mad at. Like, a buddy of mine came over and he wanted to, smoke, and I was going to give him some weed, and I had him, smell all the jars, and he chose the Jack and the DJ Short Blueberry, and I was like, that I told him, that it's all fresh. So,
yeah,
some of it's going to be wet. So you might want to let it cure for a little while.
And then the Jack and the pineapple, like, they're really good. And, like, I don't know, when I'm feeling weed, like, for when it's ready to smoke, like, I could tell, like, it's like a tactile thing for me. I can tell, like, it's like
you can tactile is like when you can hold it, right?
Yeah, or you can feel it. Right?
Yeah, you can feel it. Yeah.
So, like, those are, like, the most ready to smoke.
And pineapple was just, like, almost ready to smoke, like, a week after it was out, man.
Because, like, what I'm looking for when I'm feeling it out, right? Like, it's cool to have a bounce. You don't want it to, like, too wet or too dry, because sometimes you'll get that weed and it's really dry and it'll pretty much crumble in your fingertips.
No,
right?
I hate that shit. That's the one that it's almost that dry weed that makes you cough.
Yeah.
But also some wet weed has made me cough too, because it's so hard to light, and but when you get that perfectly dried, like perfectly cured, but it's still really fresh, oh man, there's nothing like it.
Were we smoking Jedi cookies, or what were we smoking?
No, we were smoking pineapple OG.
Because, the pineapple OG, it's still, it's super moist. Like,
it's still moist, yeah.
Not moist, but
sticky.
Like sticky. It's very sticky. Like, putting
it's
it in the...
sticky.
Godly. Shout out to Dochi. Or is that Dochi?
No, that's Tyler. Tyler and Glorilla. And,
that's what it was.
And Lil Wayne, I think, is on that track. Tricky. Chromacopia is an incredible album. That's my favorite. Like, if we're gonna do a pop culture moment for Chromacopia, that's probably my second favorite album of last year to GNX.
GNX.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but yeah, like the pineapple, it's like it's like you put it in the grinder and the grinder gets stuck. You know, like it's very.
Yeah, it's hard to grind because it's very sticky.
Yeah,
but when you get it into the bowl and you smoke it,
it's nice.
It's delicious.
It's very nice. Like
it is really. But that's part of what's wonderful about, because I'm gonna be now with the photo period plants that I have. Let me see if I'm not too high. I can remember all the strains I have going. I have the Platinum GMO, I have the Chicken and Waffles, and I have the Gelato 33 crossed with Legend OG.
Yeah. Okay,
those three. And then I also have the Gelato 33 clone going, and I'm going to keep cloning that. And so I have a clone bin of six little seedlings of Gelato 33, because I want to eventually do what I did with Jack Herrera, where I had a whole tent of Jack Herrera. I want to do a whole tent of Gelato 33, because why not?
That sounds fun.
But then also with this genetics that I have running now, I'm at a point where it's going to get hot in the Buddha Lounge more often than it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So flowering in there is going to be not tougher, but it's going to be like last spring, where our last harvest was around April, because I'm going to probably pop these into flower after probably mid-March, and then probably will leak into May to harvest these plants. But then that'll probably be my latest spring harvest ever, and it's going to be pretty hot. So I'm going to actually, if I have enough money, I might invest in a Canna and that to dry it, because it might not be feasible to dry it in a tent outside at like 100 degrees in there.
Yeah, that'd be a waste.
It would dry way too fast, and it would be nasty. So if I had the money, it might be a thing. If I have the money, it might be a thing where at that point, especially if I'm, doing well with donations, and as far as people, you know what I'm saying? Boom. I think I might buy a Canna for the summertime, because it's like $1,200, I think. Mm-hmm. And at this point, between folks from work and all the other things,
you can swing it.
I could probably swing it.
All right.
So I'm thinking that I'm gonna, and also just being at work.
Let's do this. If any of our listeners have a connected Canna, just like instead of us.
I'd love to interview the guy who invented it, because he invented it himself.
Yeah,
it was like a garage, American a dream type of thing, where he fiddled with a wine fridge for a little while, and with a wet sponge figured out how to make this Canna. It's pretty incredible. The machine is pretty and a lot of growers use it to cure and dry their weed and store their weed.
If anyone has a used one, or if no,
I think I want to buy one of our own and stick one Canna Kuya, or numerous Canna Kuya stickers on it, and
just make it your own
and make it my own. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to have one, because I think at this point I'm a good enough grower to invest in something like that.
Word.
And because I'm not buying new tents.
Yeah.
I'm not buying new tents. I'm gonna invest in a new light to upgrade the smaller tent, but there's not really any more space to put any more tent in there, and I kind of want to, especially because I have all my mom's plants in there now. I kind of want to devote a little bit more to the greenhouse aspect of that whole area rather than just the cannabis plants. I mean, everybody's getting rooted leaf.
Yeah.
Nutrients. All the plants are getting it now.
Nice.
Yeah. And shout out to Rooted Leaf Nutrients, because I really want to have Nick on, and I've been in his DMs, and we've been DMing back and forth, and I think we really need to get him on the show, because I really want him to break down just the starter kit, because he broke down the starter kit of his nutrient packet, which is basically all just plant extracts and fermented extracts of plants and organic materials. It's pretty incredible what he's created with his nutrient line, and the results speak for itself. I mean, you look at the weed. Look at how it comes out.
Yeah.
It really is the best weed I've ever grown with this nutrient line, and it's all organic. And with the Gaia Green mixed with the rooted leaf, man, I'm killing it. I'm like the dudes on YouTube.
Nice.
At this point. And I'm excited about that because, like, first, I won't have, like, when I go to the dispensary with you, it'll be like, oh, let me get some candy, or let me get this drink, or let me get this.
You can't make.
Or maybe, oh, let me try this candy that I'm going to try to make, or because I just got a crock pot from my dad, so I'm going to definitely make some butter in the near future, because some of that Jedi cookies is probably going to turn into actual Jedi cookies. I feel like that's what that plant material is going to be. You know what I mean? I'm going to get some, because my wife makes she makes good ass chocolate chip cookies. So I figured just use this butter, baby. And then, you don't have to eat any of it. You don't have to eat any of them. But yeah, because she owes me, because should I tell the story about my wife?
That's on you, man.
She ruined my fresh frozen blueberry DJ Short blueberry plants. There was like 8 plants worth of plant material frozen, and also the Jedi cookies from the outdoor that I'd cut down and froze, and she took them out of the freezer and just left them out, and they defrosted into a
mess.
Floppy mess, and I just threw them away.
Oh.
And I was upset, but things happen. It was my kid's birthday, and they needed room in the freezer, so there's only so much you can do about that.
Yeah.
So
priorities.
Huh?
Yeah, your priorities. You got them.
But I feel like now, if I made some butter, I feel like she could, plug her nose, because she doesn't like the smell.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like she could plug her nose and make me some bomb ass cookies.
That sounds dope. What else do we got to fill in people on?
Well, no, I there's so much to talk about with the grow, because, like, I'm learning how to clone. I almost started new plants, and you have to. I'm so excited about the end of this episode, and what we're gonna do at the end is we're gonna turn on. The lights will turn on at 6 p.m. and we're gonna chop the jelly donuts from Humboldt Seed Company, the autoflowers. And bro, I don't know if have you seen them lately? Like, when's the last time you saw them?
Last time I was here, so that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, bro, because my goodness, bro, it's amazing. They're amazing. When you think about it, they're just so stupid. They look so awesome, and yeah, man, I'm excited because we're gonna chop them down and hang them up, and wait a week, and then trim them and smoke them.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited, because when you look at these, and the reviews online of this particular genetic have always been very high, so I was very excited to grow it in the first place. And when you smell it, and you get a little bit of sticky on your hands, and you smell it, it's like candy.
Yeah.
It's such a sweet, delicious smell of weed. And I'm really excited for the jelly donuts, because when you look at it, you're going to see it's beautiful, turn out beautiful. And we're going to chop that in about 20 minutes. But I'm just excited to be able to do all this. But then also, like I said, I want to have guests that can bring that information and the things that I'm doing here at our Buddha Lounge, and you can have your Buddha Lounge at your house if you're listening. Because like I said, I'm going to repeat it all the time. If you're smoking weed every day, you should probably be growing your own, because it is getting very expensive. And also, depending on what state you're in, it might be almost dangerous, because there's a lot of processed stuff out there that's almost, you might as well smoke a cigarette kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's scary though,
Oh, speaking of that, like, so I was in Texas this weekend, and I was worried about not having weed out there, but you can technically buy weed in Texas.
It's got to be THCA, you said.
So yeah.
So what's the distinction?
So Mark Bond and Mikey Perry, two fellow comedians, were breaking it down for me, and it's just the legal loophole, I guess, that they use. It has to present. It's in the way they test it, so it has to have less than 3% THCA, to be labeled THCA or to be able to do that, right?
So less than 3% THC.
Which is like a specific compound, right?
A specific cannabinoid.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is like as long as it tests under that, you can sell it. Because like out there's no real dispensaries. Well, there are dispensaries, but pretty much you could buy weed at a smoke shop, right? Like you could just go to a smoke shop, any smoke shop, and they'll have like THCA, right?
Really?
Yeah. So
was it good?
it was fine. I mean, it's not like it's nothing that compares to like anything out here, you know, like
sure.
But
does it compare to that?
No, it does not. It does not. He's pointing to his own jars of weed. But like
as I stroke my own ego.
Yeah, no, but like THCA, right? So like as long as it tests under this like this threshold, right, you can sell it. But cannabinoids or like the psychoactive elements, the psychoactive elements, they're still present once you bring fire to it. So like if you bring fire to this joint that's like this specialty THC or whatever, it's still gonna be mind altering, right? Like it's still gonna give you that that buzz. It's just, so the best way I could describe it, like if I had to like put it in like the simplest terms, it's weed, right? It's still weed, but it's lower grade weed, so it's not gonna get you like
baked.
No, it gets you baked, but it's like it's like sugar leaf.
Okay.
So
it's just not as concentrated.
Yeah, it's not. It's like sugar leaf. That's the best way I could put it. Like, so you're smoking.
Look, see, that's called a callback.
Yeah.
No, but that's a great comparison. Then.
Yeah.
Right
so
on.
It's like smoking that. So it does have THC in it.
Yeah, and
right?
you get high, and you're stoned, but
Right.
it's not like you're, oh my god, I'm baked.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, like it does the job. It
Sure.
does the job. Like,
Well, that's good to know. That, I mean, I'm not gonna try and bring my own when we go.
Yeah, and like the thing is like, so I guess out there, right? Like they sell their stuff, right? And they don't care. They don't really like care if you're smoking. Like people out there smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know it's a thing, right? But then like a cop can like be like, hey, what are you smoking? And then they could test it on the spot. And then if
They can test it on the spot.
yeah, they got test kits, right? So like if it turns like a certain color, and they're like, oh, that's actual weed, right? Like, or like that's real.
That's not Texas regulated weed.
That's not THCA, or like that has like too much, right? Like then that's when you get in trouble. But that's a lot of effort also. So you gotta, like, I feel like you really gotta have pissed off the cop, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, but that's like the opposite of what most of my weed does. Is usually is to make me pissed off.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna piss anybody off. I don't think.
No, because like
and
remember,
especially
like,
not in Texas.
Yeah, because I saw people smoking out there, like they smoke.
Was it THCA?
I'm assuming, you know, like because it's all because what I noticed too is like, so they have all the brands, the same brands that are in stores, right? So let's say like you have Stizzy or whatever, right? But I think they cut it with like other herbs or whatever, like filler. You know, have you seen like, you know, there's like weed filler that people have been like trying to
infused weed.
No, it's not infused weed. It's like they're like certain celebrities. They'll advise, like they're like, hey, like if you ain't smoking your weed with like this blend or whatever to make it like to make it taste like a certain way or whatever, or like, you know, just to. There's a blend, right? Like there's a blend, like, and that's something that I've seen. It's a recent thing, right?
I'm really happy that I grow my own weed.
Yeah, no, because a lot of people like, you know, it's like you know, like back in the day we'd have spliffs. It'd be like tobacco and weed, right?
I hated those.
Right. But
also
then,
because tobacco used to make me throw up. Like I smoked cigarettes for a little while in college, and then cigarettes just started. every time I took a puff, it would make me want to throw up.
No, but now, like, so what they do is, like, they sell this thing, like it gets advertised to me on my Instagram, like, every so often. It's like, it's something that you put along with your weed, right? And it enhances the flavor, or it, like, whatever. But you're just cutting up your weed, right?
Yeah.
So, like, they're like, another thing is, like, make your weed last longer, right? Like, it's because you're cutting it up with this other shit. So pretty much, like, all the major brands to skirt the laws in these states where it's not legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
They market it as a blend, so it doesn't have that much weed in it, right? Like, it has the blend. So, but yeah, like, it is accessible out there.
I'm staying in Cali.
Or at least in places where it's recreational.
Well, I can go to Chicago. Like, remember when we were in Chicago and it was, we could go to that dude in the train station.
Okay, so that's pretty much what Texas is like. It's like that.
But the weed is but the weed was pretty good in Chicago.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. They're probably skirting the line. Like, that's probably like they're as a smoke shop. They were probably allowed.
Oh, for sure. No, that
sell,
was
like,
shady as fuck.
Yeah, no, they're allowed to sell, like, certain products.
But then there were also the other places where I'd show my Cali license and they'd be like, "You're from California? Oh, you're gonna be very disappointed." Yeah. So, like that one place that you went into, the MedMen, that didn't even have a lighter to sell.
I couldn't get a lighter. That's why those motherfuckers are going out of business.
Oh my god!
Straight up.
That's why they went out of business. They're gone. They're long gone now, right?
I think so.
No, but there's a lot of stories nowadays about how the legal weed, there's a lot of nasty, enhancements, and it's become big tobacco because they want to make as much money as they can on something that, unless it's a high quality thing, the price on weed is pretty low, and you're trying to make a premium dollar on something that a lot of people are doing. Unless you have something spectacular, you're not gonna. I don't know. It's just. I feel like weed is gonna become like you said, like the microbreweries or the like the wineries or
people
same type of thing.
Yeah,
where
just doing their own thing with
people
it.
Knowing how to grow grapes or knowing how to grow cannabis, and then knowing how to cultivate it and bring it to market.
So, like, so that was one thing that was interesting about Texas. Like, because Mikey, every time I was like, "Hey, are we cool to smoke?" He's like, "No one cares." Like, no.
Yeah,
one,
as long as you're not shitty about it, you're fine.
Yeah.
So then, maybe I could bring some for Mikey, or Mikey could I could take a jar home with him, because would they search his bag on the way into Texas?
If he's driving, I don't know. Like, see, that's the thing. I don't know. I
don't want to discuss how to break the law in Texas on our podcast. Let's not do that, guys. Let's really not do that, guys. But no, I am excited about the harvest. I am excited about some of the guests that I'm trying to line up for our show, to talk about different things on enhancing your own home grow and actually trying to enhance my home grow. And then, Mitch can taste all of it. But I really am thinking, you know what? There's one other thing that I did want to talk about before we ended this podcast, and that it was that my Eric Nugshot's book of cannabis got rained on in the rainy season in the Buddha Lounge, and it was ruined. But then I bought a new one. So I just bought a new one. And
I thought it was like, I thought you lost something and then you're just like immediately like, but I replaced it.
It was pretty good. It's
it was so dramatic.
It's so fun to not be broke, guys. It's really cool. It's kind of fun to not have money in your pocket. It's cool.
It's nice.
I'm happy to be working. I'm happy to be in flush with weed. I'm happy to be hanging with my homies, and talking about weed. And I'm happy to be here with you guys, and everybody out there listening. I really am thankful for everybody who listens to this podcast. I'd be even more thankful if you shared and maybe wrote a review or something, because we got merch to not even just sell you, but if you write a review, I will send you some merch. And speaking of which, we forgot, we got one more thing to talk about before we wrap it up, and that is the new Canna Kuya hats.
Oh,
hold on, stay right there.
I haven't seen these.
I'm gonna unveil them on the podcast.
Okay, I'm a vamp for a little bit. So, guys, we've got shirts, we've got hats. Eric bought like some new hats. He's opening the door to the Buddha Lounge so he can get his merch out. Hi everyone, how's it going? I'm Mitch Narito. Oh,
sorry,
it's okay.
Can you edit that out or no?
We will. We'll see.
You don't have to edit it out. It's funny.
It's fine.
Okay.
All right. So we got.
So
Oh, dude, these are clean. Oh, wow. That's pretty dope. I like that. They got the Banig Hid. Banig. Was it Brim? What's that?
It's basically our new. That's the 1-2 Productions brand now. Is the Banig Brim on the baseball cap, and then you got the Canna Kuya logo, but then you also have the Miscellaneous Brown, which is my first comedy special. But both have the Banig Brim, and both are available on the 1-2 Productions website. That's 1-2 ONETOO Productions, one word, .com. That's the website, and y'all should go to the website, and you can order all the Canna Kuya gear, you can order the 1-2 Production gear, you can order the Miscellaneous Brown gear, or you can just listen to all the podcasts there too. You can listen to all the podcasts from my Miscellaneous and Brown podcast to the Canna Kuyas, every episode, and we're on episode 43 now. It's pretty crazy that we are coming up on episode 50. What special thing should we do? I know what it is. It's the thing that we were discussing, the special 420 event. We'll probably be right around that episode 50 time.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun things happening. We'll be in mid-flower in the Buddha Lounge, springtime, beautiful. It's gonna be a good time, unless of course we're in full-on rebellion and we have to fight for our lives.
We'll see. Well, with that, folks, you've been listening to the Canna Kuya podcast, where we are cultivating conversations concerning cannabis, culture, and creativity. I'm Mitch Narito.
And I am Eric Esteban.
And to all our marijuana ates and Canna Kuyas, stay lifted.
Stay elevated, y'all.
Peace.
Yeah, I got my hoodie on, now peep the chest as human catalyst. Downtown Chula Vista, on 3rd Ave where I go cop some shit. Fuck a thief, so fuck zoomies, yeah, they whack ass jacket shit. Yeah, I move too swift, so I striking silence. Fuck the violence, man, check my mileage, cause I got driving. First tour, I drove 6 states, never thought I'd be there right by my side, man. What a time it is to be alive. See, I'm charged up, feeling energized, do the enterprise, move supersize. Y'all lecture like a side of fries. Whoa, false guys who you idolize, yeah, go against us, I would not advise. We the highest in the room, just look up once and you can find us. Our song should have more plays, but we too dope, they rewind us. All my targets lined up, every day my girl get fined up. All my clothes is local, bitch, I really rock designer.
Gang, highest in the room, yo, we get fucked up. Ay, you can count on Trey, Cap, bring the loud pack. Ay, get us in the stew and that's game over. Western Metal Building, that's a home run. Yeah, get the up or leave the fuck a Folgers. Little bitch, I make the beat and drop the full verse. I just hit a steelo, I got dripped up. Package born and raised, bitch, I got dripped up. Y no se compara. Yo estoy con mi pana, se llama Trega, fumando ganja. Estamos con Cali, fumando en Cali, yo sé que traen ganas. Ella me dice, papi, que terminamos la cama. Highest in the room, yeah, we get fucked up. Ay, you can count on Trey, Cap, bring the loud pack. Ay, get us in the stew and that's game over. Western Metal Building, that's a home run.
Yeah, we got hits like Tatis and Machado, man, we know you're not a leader. Cause all our moves you just follow, packing big bowls. You know we just scooped up that gelato, cause I smoke killer. My shirt iller, yo, ask our dealer, we the highest in the room. Just look up once and you can find us. Our song should have more plays, but we too though, they rewind us. All my talk is lined up, every day my girl get fined up. All my clothes is local, bitch, I rarely rock designer,
Highest in the room, yeah, we get fucked up. You can count on Drake, I bring the loud pack. Get us in the stew and that's game over. Western Metal Building, that's a home run.